morning, everyone. Welcome in science class. As you know that we are discussing about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. And we had already discussed about the reaction of metals and non-metals with oxygen and reaction of metals and non-metals with water. And this one is the next reaction of acids with metals. So let's start. As you can see in this picture, there is one test tube. In this test tube, we had taken dilute HCl and iron nails are present in this test tube. So iron nail is metal and this one is acid. So this is a reaction with metal and acid. So take some iron nails and clean their surface. As I already told you in the case of magnesium, that these are metals and they react with atmospheric gases to form a layer on their surface. So before starting the reaction, we should clean the surface of the metal. So the same we did here. Take some iron nails and clean their surface by rubbing with sandpaper and put them in a test tube. Add some dilute hydrochloric acid to the test tube. Cover this with another test tube. You can see here. And in the previous reaction, we already did this. This is to be done so that the gas which is formed here, that can be easily collected in the above test tube. Gas bubbles will be observed, and if gas bubbles are observed, it means there is an evolution of gas. It means some gas is liberated. When a burning splinter is brought near it burns with a pop sound, indicating that it is hydrogen gas. In the previous reaction, the same we did, that when we bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the above test tube is just taken out from the previous one test tube, and as we bring a burning splinter near the mouth of the test tube, it burned with pop sound. Why? Because this test tube contains hydrogen gas and hydrogen gas burned with pop sound. This experiment can be repeated with magnesium ribbon, with zinc granules, with different acids also, like dilute sulfuric acid can be taken in the place of dilute hydrochloric acid. So what happened? When acid react with metal, it form hydrogen gas. Let's discuss the chemical equation of it. Here iron react with hydrochloric acid to form iron chloride and hydrogen gas. Zinc react with sulfuric acid to form zinc sulfate and form hydrogen gas. So what we concluded from this reaction, that means the reaction of acids with metal. There is a conclusion. Metals react with acids to liberate hydrogen gas. In both the condition, both the equation, you can see hydrogen gas and form metal salts. This one is iron chloride, this one is zinc chloride. Some metals like copper and lead do not react with dilute hydrochloric acid. They react with sulfuric acid and nitric acid, but they do not release hydrogen gas. As every one metal has different reactivity. So this one is the reactivity of copper and lead. But why they did so? In your higher classes, it will be explained to you. So here you can only remember that these are the metals which do not react with hydrochloric acid, but they react with sulfuric and nitric acid. Remember, even on reaction with sulfuric and nitric acid, they do not release hydrogen gas. There is a reason behind that you will get to know in your higher classes. Metals like gold and platinum do not react with dilute acid because these are noble metals. These are less reactive metal, even least reactive metals. Okay. Then there is reaction of acids with known metals. Known metals generally do not react with acids. Generally. But some known metals like sulfur and phosphorus. Which one? Sulfur and phosphorus react with hot concentrated sulfuric acid. Hot concentrated sulfuric acid, but they do not release hydrogen gas. They react with this concentrated sulfuric acid but do not release hydrogen gas. Okay, let's move to the next one slide. Reaction with alkalis. Before starting this reaction, let me know you what are alkalis. Basically, metal oxides which can easily dissolve in water. Those are known as alkalis. In 7th class, you already has discussed this, that all metal oxides cannot dissolve in water, but those that can dissolve, those are known as alkalis. So water soluble metal oxides basically are known as alkalis. Most metals and non-metals do not react with alkalis. Aluminium and zinc can react with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxides to form their salts, like sodium salt and potassium salts, and liberate hydrogen gas. I think it is clear. Generally, they do not react with alkalis, metals and non-metal, but two metals are here, aluminium and zinc. They react with sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide. These are alkalis, both are alkalis, and they form salt and liberate hydrogen gas. And we can get a particular test for hydrogen gas as we had discussed it. So finally, on the basis of different reactivities, finally we make a list of metals, and this is basically a series of metal in which we move, if you see it from bottom to top, increasing reactivity. If we move from top to bottom, it is decreasing reactivity. So this is reactivity of metals. The more is the tendency of an element to react with other substances to form compounds, the more is the reactivity. Means when an element react in most of the conditions to form some new compounds, it means it is more reactive. So on that basis, there is a series formed, and this series is called reactivity series. So in this reactivity series, elements are arranged on the basis of their reactions. So here you can see potassium is at the top. So potassium is more reactive metal, and platinum is at the bottom. It is least reactive element. We have to remember this reactivity series. So there is a story related to that. In this story, the first letter indicate the name of the element. So let's read this story. Please send Charlie's monkeys and zebras in tight lead cages, securely guarded, please. So P means potassium, S means sodium, C means calcium, M means magnesium, A means aluminium, Z means zinc, I means iron, and it is basically in tight. So that is lead. I think it should be light, L-I-G-H-T, light lead cages. So that then it will be L, lead. By mistake it is written here tight, it is light. Let me correct it. Okay, this one is light. 1 minute. This one is then I will write here. It will be L, light. It will be L. So light, you can also see lead in lead cages. I think I should remove it. Why to bother for that? Remove it. So please send Charlie's monkeys and zebra in lead cages, securely guard, please. So I means iron, L means lead, C means copper, S means silver, G means gold, and P means platinum. So it is an easy way to remember the elements in a series. So this one is your reactivity series. I think it will be interesting to understand and to learn also. Let's move to the next one. Now, on the basis of reactivity series, what we can say that some elements are more reactive and some are less reactive. When we compare two elements, then out of that two element, maybe one is more reactive and another is less reactive. Let's see here. There is an example. AB, it is a compound, and C is an element. So in A and B, A is metal, which is less reactive. C is more reactive. More reactive means more reactive than A, less reactive than C. So because C is more reactive, so C can easily displace a less reactive metal and form a compound CB. So C, being a more reactive metal, displaces a less reactive metal from its compound and form a new compound, and this element will be alone here. This kind of reaction is known as displacement. Displacement, किसी को उसके place से displace करना, हटाना. So a more reactive element can displace a less reactive element. So this is reaction displacement. Here, if A is more reactive than C, then C cannot displace A and the reaction will be as it is. So displacement reaction does not occur. Only and only more reactive can displace a less reactive. A lesser reactive cannot displace a more reactive element. We will discuss it in this condition, displacement reaction. There are two test tubes or beaker. One contain copper sulfate, means copper metal. Another contain iron sulfate, means iron metal. In the copper sulfate solution, an iron nail is dipped. In iron sulfate solution, a copper nail is dipped. So there is a basic reaction copper sulfate with iron. And here is a reaction of iron sulfate with copper. As in the reactivity series, we know that iron is more reactive than copper. So iron can easily displace copper and form iron sulfate. So here you can see, if this one is the condition, then copper cannot displace iron because copper is least reactive. So in this one test tube or the beaker, we can see the reaction, but in this one, we cannot see this. This one reactivity is given in your book. There is copper sulfate solution, which is of blue color as you can see in the picture, and we dipped a magnesium ribbon into it. After some time, what we observe, the color of the solution will change. It become almost colorless like water. And some different kind of substance is deposited on the magnesium ribbon. कुछ deposit हो जाता है ribbon के ऊपर. So there is a change and we can easily observe that some reaction had taken place. What happened in this reaction? Magnesium, when react with copper sulfate, and because magnesium is more reactive than copper, how do we know? With the help of reactivity series, we know it. So magnesium displaces copper from copper sulfate solution and form magnesium sulfate, and copper will left behind. So from blue color it becomes colorless. These activities are very important of this chapter. You should go through the book and learn each and every changes that had taken place during this reactivity. One more interesting reactivity is here in this petri dish, means in this plate. There is a kind of reaction in which copper wire is placed in silver nitrate. So as copper is more reactive than silver, so you can see the change. Copper displaces silver and form copper nitrate. So that's why you can see the change here. Okay, I think this one is over. Have a nice day. Goodbye. I think you understand. Go through your book. If you have any problem, you can ask that. Goodbye. Have a good day.